everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that I have plot synopses and character bios for this issue. We are continuing our run through the Chris Claremont era of X-Men, and we are looking now at Marvel Fanfare number 4 from 1982. This is drawn by Paul Smith. Issues 1 and 2 were drawn by, oh my goodness, I already forgot his name. Michael Golden. Oh, how could I forget? He is one of the great ones. And issue 3 was drawn by Dave Cockrum. So now we've got Paul Smith. Paul Smith will eventually take over the X-Men for about a year and a half or so. To tell you the truth, I like him more than Dave Cockrum. So good good cover here. This is the last of the Marvel issues done by Claremont for this particular story. This concludes this. This here is the full cover. So this is the front and the back here. So really nice here by Paul Smith. Look at that. So we have Kazar, who went and got himself a lizard for supper here. And here he is with a Zabu. He says, "Welcome back to the land of the living, stranger. For a while there, Zabu and I thought you weren't going to make it." So, of course, this picks up exactly where the previous issue had stopped here. We have our credits: Claremont, Paul Smith, and Terry Austin, John Byrne's former inker. When John Byrne went to the Fantastic Four, he went by himself. So John Byrne inked himself. So Terry Austin just kind of went, and it's kind of funny that he didn't stay in X-Men, because I'm sure the paycheck was really good. So yeah, I that would be a good story. So Al Milgram is the editor, and Jim Shooter is the editor-in-chief. Marvel Fanfare was printed in glossy paper, so it wasn't just regular newsprint. Um, Pal, am I glad to see you? Heck, I'm glad to see anyone. I was sure that fall would kill me. My wings must have cut my speed enough so that the impact only knocked me out. It's a miracle. How long have I been unconscious? Asked Angel. Hard to tell. The perpetual mist that shrouds the sun and stars above the savage land makes it difficult to tell. I'm afraid it's been a while. You may feel fine now, but you were pretty far gone when we found you. Concussed, feverish, delirious. Here, Zabu, dinner. And he gives Zabu the head. What brought you back to my domain, Angel? Sauron, of course. I feel partly responsible for his recreation, and I promise to help you end his threat once and for all. So we're going to get a recap of the previous issue. We have covered it. I have an X-Men playlist. Feel free to check it out. So we basically then continue with the recap here. And so Kazar says, "I didn't know about the fall people. I've been away. When I left, Sauron's threat seemed minimal, under control." And Angel says, "Well, it isn't anymore. Shanna, my lady, was visiting the fall people. This explains why she's been gone so long." And Angel says, "We didn't find her body in the village. She could be a prisoner with the X-Men. Look, Kazar, I can fly out to one of the United Nations bases on the periphery of the Savage Land and summon reinforcements. The Fantastic Four, the Avengers." And Kazar says, "Possibly, but suppose they aren't available. Here, you'll think better on a full stomach." So he gives him the leg. "Thanks, but I prefer my meals cooked." And well, make a fire. Goodness gracious. "Can't. Too much danger of fire being spotted by Sauron's scouts." So that answered my question. I haven't read these in forever. So goodness gracious. I have these issues in I haven't read them in forever. So I'm reading them for the first time with you right here. So since then. So if he absorbs the X-Men's mutant energy, Sauron can increase his own power geometrically. By the time any assistance arrives, he might as well be unbeatable. The longer we wait, the greater the danger Sauron presents. So Khazar continues. How was Sauron able to defeat the X-Men? And Angel says, I don't know. Before he attacked, we were all feeling lousy, out of sorts, tired. It was an effort to think, much less act. By the time we struck, we'd lost our will to resist, he says. That must be it. A device, or perhaps it's Sauron himself using his mutant hypnosis ability to weaken the resolve of those who invade his territory. And Khazar says, but Sauron doesn't trust anyone, which means he certainly wouldn't devise such a weapon unless he either controlled it or powered it. He'd be too afraid of it being turned against him. So if someone were to lure him from his citadel, someone else might have a chance to sneak inside and free the prisoners. And Angel says, by someone you mean me. You got the wings. I can't. You don't understand. He's been inside my soul. The thought of facing him is almost more than I can bear, Khazar. I can't do it. And so he says here, he stands there and ponders here. Okay, Khazar, I promise nothing, but I'll try. So I really dig this costume of Angel's. So it's funny the way they have Khazar depicted like Tarzan. Like, that's all he would. I mean, I don't know. Not even a pair of boots. So Angel says, I don't feel any of the sensations I experienced last time. Sauron's will destroyer must be inactive. That's a break for us. That lake's pretty wide, Khazar, and brimming with aquatic carnivores. Are you still determined to swim it? And he says, as far as I possibly can. Don't worry, though. I'll have Zabu to keep me company. The catapult's ready. Light our warhead, Flyboy, and let's get the show on the road. So inside the fortress, we got Sauron here with Brainchild. And Sauron asks, how much longer, Brainchild? I hunger. And he says, only a few more seconds, my lord. Behold, the final transformation begins. And you can see that machine is aimed at Storm here. And you can see her. Is he devolving her, or is she coming from? Because normally you would go from here and then look at it this way. But, I'm going to assume that he's transforming her back from this creature. Because we're going this way. So, aha, I was right. Sauron, there are no words to describe you, says Storm. And you can see that the way the panel, or that the word balloon is, it's very disordered. So, your will is as matchless as your courage, my dear, and neither will avail you aught. Before you recover the full use of your powers, I will drain the mutant energy from your bodies, he says. Then Brainchild's accelerator will once more devolve you to a Neanderthal state. As barely sentient hominoids, the X-Men's threat to me becomes non-existence. And so suddenly you can see here Khazar sending the catapult with these fire things. The alarm, are we under attack? But who would dare? And you can see the boom. And they scream out, Angel, and he goes, that's right, ugly. I'll make this offer once, and I advise you to accept it. Release the X-Men and your other prisoners and surrender or face the consequences. And so you can see Sauron using his powers. The youth is demented, but I am merciful. I'll waste no time in putting him out of his misery. Is it not ironic, Storm, that those angels seeks to save are providing me with the power to destroy him? And so it lets us know here that he drains the power of all four X-Men, so we don't see it anymore. Zaladane, double the guard. The angel is often foolhardy, but he is not stupid. This challenge could be a ruse. Brainchild, revert the X-Men. At least we won't have to worry about them. And so Brainchild will do as he says. Do you miss your comrades so much, mutants, that you've come to share their fate? As Sauron flies toward him. So long as a single X-Men... Oh, sorry. No, I read that part. So long as a single X-Men remains, free monster, you will have it won. And Kazar goes, that's the spirit, Flyboy. Lead him as far away from the citadel as he can. And Kazar jumps to the lake here. You got it, Zabuo, buddy. That's our cue to get wet. Don't give me that. You love swimming. You just hate water. So here they go. And Kazar thinks here. Angel knew the odds that he'd be outmatched from the start, yet he's still giving it everything he's got. He's got a lot more courage than he gives himself credit for. And then here comes this creature here. And so it takes Kazar, but Kazar slits his throat. So off he goes and continues to swim here. And Zabu was already there. You can see other creatures are good. Since that creature is wounded, they decide, we're going to eat him. So, and Zabu helps him out here. Though if my brilliant plan doesn't work, we may both wish we'd stayed in the lake. Not a sound, cat. They'll be expecting trouble in the castle. We can't let them know we've arrived till we're ready. Wherever you are, Angel, keep up the good work. Just buy me a little more time. And so Angel hits here. You can see hitting Sauron. And so they're far from the Citadel, and Angel is doing the best he can. But the Sauron uses his gaze. This is a gaze. This isn't X-ray or anything like that. It's just showing that his gaze, he managed to get into the eyes. So Angel has been defeated. And so here we have Storm here. And Brainchild here says, magnificent. The slaves prepared you well, Storm. You are beautiful beyond my wildest dream. And she's like still feeling groggy. What do you want, Brainchild? You, of course. Actually, my dear, you're in no position to refuse me. Consider the alternative. Would you rather spend the rest of your life as a Neanderthal or worse? And she's like, yes, and she slaps him. Then he slaps her back. You pay for that. I'll devolve your body, but not your brain. The consciousness of Storm trapped in the form of a demi-human beast. Before I'm done, you'll beg me to take you. Guards, why don't they answer? Those dolts of Zaladanes are never on hand when they're... And then he goes, needed most, as Zabu has made his. And he looks like he fainted here. Kazar, are you alright, Ododo? Weak, but otherwise unharmed. Rest assured while I deal with Brainchild. Kazar, no, you must not kill him. If our positions were reversed, he wouldn't hesitate it. But are we not supposed to be better than he? To represent a nobler idea. Oh, Chris Claremont, always with the we're too good to do bad things. But I get the point. But we can't be too naive. And so you see that they tie him up, and Kazar says, all right, I'll play it your way, but I hope we don't live to regret it. Oh, but you will. In about 100 issues, so. Are you able to utilize your powers? I do not know. Sauron drained so much of my strength that I can barely walk, and the residual effects of his will destroy make it difficult for me to focus my concentration. And Kazar says, I was afraid of that, and of this as well. And so this is Shauna and Tanya Anderson. So Shauna is Kazar's girlfriend, and Tanya Anderson was the one coming back for Sauron. So they also got devolved here. And so Kazar, says the process can be reversed, Kazar. She can be restored. I'm proof of that. I know, but seeing her like this, imagining what she's gone through, I'm putting an end to Sauron, to Zaladane, to Brainchild's mob of neo mutants once and for all, he says. And have him help anyone who gets in my way. And then there's a huge scream here. That scream, it's Nightcrawler, she says. They're using the accelerator on him. And so they run toward him. And Kazar says, um, only the one guard between us and our goal. Stay here, Storm. I'll handle it. And so this poor guard is probably not long for this world. And so we don't show it, but of course, it's not pretty, I'm sure. So then she goes here. Cursed screams have become a bestial howl that chills me to the marrow. What manner of creature? Goddess. Zeladane, yells Storm. False priestess of a false god. Your moment of reckoning is at hand. And Zeladane says, Storm, that cretin Brainchild was so certain he could control you. I knew he would fail. I do not fear you, Outlander. And here's Nightcrawler here. Sauron has stripped you of your powers. Remember, you are of no threat to me. And Storm says, you and your master have underestimated me, Zaladane. A fatal mistake. So Storm, of course, is not powerless, and she does still have her powers. She basically willed them back to her. And finally, Kazar catches her, and she says, I surprised myself that time. I didn't think I had that much strength left as in me. I'll be fine, Kazar. I just need a few moments to catch my breath. And Zabu's waking up Wolverine. So, I really do like Paul Smith, and I cannot wait till Paul Smith jumps back in the X-Men. But we are still about 14 issues or so left of X-Men where oh my goodness gracious. I forgot Dave Cockrum's name, so so 13 more issues or so for Dave Cockrum left in X-Men, but then Paul Smith will take over for a short run before John Romita Jr. then takes over. So so Storm says, Storm, that side panel, localized hypno-ray. I know, Wolverine, it needs us pliable on the slabs when Sauron isn't nearby. Brainchild boasted about it to me. There, it's off. Can't fault your timing, Storm. We've got company. As here comes the other mutants. And Wolverine pops his claws. These clamps are too strong for me. Someone cut me loose. And so now Peter is able to concentrate, and he gets his mutant power, and then he frees Wolverine, and a fastball special, and here comes Wolverine, and the X-Men end with Kazar take on the mutates. And so, and Storm says, I'm still too weak to effectively control my powers. If I tried to use them now, I'd do more harm than good. But my mind is unimpaired. I must try to activate the sequence that will restore Nightcrawler to normal. And so, here we go, still fighting. And Storm uses the that machine now on Nightcrawler. Is this the correct pattern? A mistake could do Kurt irreparable harm. And then the X-Men fall, but finally, Kurt is okay. So, not bad. This is one of the reasons I like the Savage Land so much here. A fella can always find himself in a Class A roughhouses. To each their own, Wolverine. Me, I'd rather make love. And so, Storm says, ours may be a hollow triumph, my friends. Trouncing these mutants and Zaladane's followers means nothing so long as Sauron remains free. So, Storm, all of you, look. Sauron. So you can see here there's a hole. So these aren't mountains. So they're not outside. It's just a big hole here. Well, what have we here? Rebellion, and moderately successful too by the look of things. He's got Angel, says Wolverine. The flyboy's unconscious, but he doesn't appear to be badly hurt. My, what sharp eyes you have, Wolverine. Regrettably, your compatriot's condition is about to undergo a radical change for the worse. So he throws Angel. But Nightcrawler teleports, catches him, and then teleports again. Um, so Sauron's gonna go to that machine, but Storm says not so, and you can see she uses her powers on Sauron, and he drops. And then Colossus, nice, I love this thing, punches him there. Wolverine shreds a little bit of his wing, and then you see Colossus gonna throw some stuff at him. You can see like no, and that's what this discoloration is. It's shadow here, and it falls on him, and he comes up and he says, and Sauron, after he comes up, he's like, "It is said, Exodus, that the greatness of a being is measured in the quality of his foes. If so, our mutual glory is assured. Yours, of course, will be posthumous." Means that after they're dead. But suddenly, bam! As Storm, we don't really show it, but Storm basically kicks his ass. So Storm says, like you, Sauron, we X-Men die somewhat harder than most, and we yield not at all. You had too little power left to fend off my attack, and thus reverted to Carl Lycos. So here we go here. This must never happen again. The evolutionary accelerator is too powerful, too dangerous to be entrusted to anyone for safekeeping. And Kazar says, agreed. The New Mutants have been reverted to their original forms. Ignorant swamp savages. A cruel fate, Kazar. So here we have them here. One richly deserved, Storm, and necessary brainchild's genius could have easily recreated the device. And then Colossus picks it up and destroys it here. And here we have Sauron, or Sauron's human person, says, what about me? I'm deadly as ever. I need to absorb life essences to survive, yet taking too much transforms into Sauron. Eventually, no matter how hard I resist, I will take too much. And she says, don't despair. We'll find an answer. I already have. Kill me, he says. And you look at Wolverine. Man has a point. If you're sure, Lycos, I'll do it. You won't feel a thing. And Storm says, we're not executioners, Wolverine, even for the most noble of reasons. And Storm continues. Professor Xavier has been studying Carl's condition. He believes a cure is possible. Suppose he's wrong, says Kazar. One step at a time, my friend. Farewell, Kazar. It's been good to see you again. Should you ever leave your savage land, our home is yours. Who knows, Ororo, I may just take you up on that. I sure hope so. And we will see 2 more adventures with the X-Men in the Savage Land. One won't be around, I believe, 248, 249, and 250 of X-Men. So about 100 issues away of Uncanny X-Men. And then toward the end of the Chris Claremont era with Jim Lee, there's an adventure with Kazar. All right, so we say here that it's been a few weeks here, and here goes the treatment. Here's Carl Lycos here. He is most fascinating case, Tanya. I'm afraid I can't be that detached and clinical, Professor. I'm sorry, I know what you must be going through. Carl is not a mutant. The pteranodons that attacked you and he his children, however, were. He was wounded. You were not. That is why only he was affected. And it says here the details in X-Men number 60. The pteranodons infected Carl with a genetic virus that mutated him, beginning the process that culminated in his transformation into Sauron. I've isolated the alien element in his DNA matrix, and these treatments are designed to burn it out of him. And she says, you make it sound so simple, as she's crying here. I wish it were, too. Much time may have elapsed. The virus may have too strong a hold on him. It may even have become integral to his survival. Eliminating it may be impossible, or it may kill him. And then he goes, but wait, the tests are negative. Carl will live, and his genetic structure registers clean. My friend, you are cured. Oh, Carl, my beloved, at last we can be together. That is, if you want me. More than ever, my darling. Oh, my gosh, so sappy. Chris Claremont just loves that stuff. Charles, X-Men, how can I thank you? Repay you for the happiest day of my life. And Wolverine says, so how come everybody's standing around yapping? We've gonna celebrate. Let's do it in style. Come on, Elf. You buy the beer. And so we end our 4-part Marvel fanfare issues here. We got Kitty, Colossus, Cyclops, Storm, Angel, and then of course Wolverine and Nightcrawler. So, all right, like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.